Hello, I'm Aluka, a 3D pen creator, and today I'll be making the green alien from Toy Story. While looking up reference photos, I realized there's a whole line of these aliens in Pixar costumes. They all look great, but one stood out. I've been wanting to make Buzz Lightyear with the 3D pen for a while, but I kept putting it off because how complex it would be. Now I get to do it, but way easier. 3D pen projects can become very difficult, so finding a way to make something you want to make in a way you can make it is still pretty good. To start, the alien, who, by the way, doesn't officially have a name, now will be named Keon, I begin with the front and side profiles. To make those two flat frames 3D, I cut one in two and remove the antenna. Then I connect each half to the front and back frame. This creates a solid base. More complex builds need more complex frames, but this alien is pretty simple, so I can move on to filling it in. Despite what many 3D pen ads may show, you can't really draw in the air. Creating form takes a lot of lines over and over again to build the structure. While making the frame, sometimes I wonder if I should have gone into clay sculpting instead, but I don't know how to sculpt, and I don't like clay, but I like my 3D pen, so I will suffer in silence. Once my wrist starts hurting and I forgot how many lines I made, I can finally start filling it in with filament. I usually get about 3 to 4 figures from a single spool of filament, and filament's pretty affordable and it's always on sale. For the hands, I stacked filament and shaped them with wire cutters, but later changed the pose because I didn't like it. Then I removed them and kept on filling in the body. I don't remember how long this part took exactly, but I do know I'm never getting that time back. Once the frame was fully filled in, I smoothed it out. This one was easier than most because it's mostly a round body, a round head, and flat feet. And it was at this point I decided to go with the different poles, one closed fist and one open palm. For small details like fingers, I switched to a smaller soldering tool. Thankfully, alien hands aren't that complicated, just built up the filament around the palm. After smoothing, I went back and filled in the holes that process created. Then I shaped everything further with the power tool. This Dremel is very handy for helping me fix and shape the filament without having to sand everything myself. Then I swapped to a smaller bit for the hands. To finish the whole sanding process, I have to sand it with my hands because the Dremel leaves marks. Yes, this is a lot of sanding, and yes, there's more coming, yay. Next came the spacesuit details. I freehanded the belt first, slightly too low. It could have been a little bit higher. To keep the spacesuit clean, I made each section in layers, smoothing between each segment. It's very easy when you get to this part to remove too much filament, so I took my time lining everything up. The next part was the chest piece where the buttons go. Didn't have any reference photos for the back, so I kinda just made up a design. Worked fine, looks okay. Keon turned out bigger than the original template, so I freehanded the eyes. I started with the middle one, figured that if that one looked good, the rest would follow. And I was right, the eyes came out better than expected. I always have a problem with the eyes. The ears were pretty simple too. And after that I built a jetpack, again in layers, but this time I got a little lazy and stacked them all at once. Everything can't be perfect. Both of the arms have a little suit detail, and to add those I made a ring of filament around and blended it in. Just a small amount of filament can add a lot to the look. I smoothed out the rest of the surface after that. Fun fact, the Toy Story aliens are actually the top 3 most sold toy from the Toy Story franchise, and if that sounds like a lie, it's because it is. I just didn't know what to say while I showed you guys smoothing this out, so you have to listen to me ramble. And a little bit, and that's it. For the mouth, I added filament to shape the upper lip, then I blended it in. Remember those buttons I mentioned? Time to actually make and attach them. To connect the jetpack, I used magnets. Luckily, they came with these stickers so I could test the fit first. The wings on the jetpack were a little bit too short, so I did end up extending them off camera, don't worry. I added the ears on before the next part, and that's because the next part is more sanding, because I sprayed all the parts with the black primer filler and it's time to wet sand it off. You don't actually have to sand as much as I do, but when you put a lot of work into something, you want it to look the best it can, so I don't mind sanding very much at all. Now it's time to paint, and I already primed it with this transparent primer. I started with white first and painted the eyes, the jetpack, suit, and arms. Beyond the green alien obviously got painted green. The jetpack and the suit got painted purple. The shoes were painted a bright green, and so did the middle part of the belt. The buttons were painted blue, green, and red, followed by red on the jetpack, and you can see how long I extended the wings. The rest of the belt was painted light gray, just like the arms. The final step was painting the black circles for the eye, and a tiny dab of white for the pupils. Peon has no arms, so let's super glue them on. Really happy I decided to go with the different poles. I really like the way this looks. It looks like a toy that a kid would play with. Very satisfied. Bye.